Good day, everyone. I am Jess Roswello from the Group C, and I will be discussing the other subtopics of the Lesson 1 Culture in Moral Behavior. So, for the contents of this report, here's what you'll find in this Lesson 1 Culture in Moral Behavior report, Part 2, the Asian and Filipino understanding of moral behavior and the universal values. So, let us first know what is the impact of culture in our morality. Sabi dito, culture has a major impact on morality. People from different cultures appear to have seemingly but not essentially different sets of ethics. Of course, since we are part of a society where our culture is mainly from the religion or influence of religion, of course, meron tayong naiibang set of ethics from others and ganun din sila. Based on their culture, they created different sets of ethics that they practice within their society or within themselves. And this is particularly apparent in ethics of groups of people from Eastern or Asian culture as compared to those from the Western culture. So, susunod na topic natin is what are the differences on the Eastern or Asian culture and the Western culture. Makikita natin on how they differ. So, for the Eastern or Asian culture, it is very much about the protocol and showing of respect, and more about doing what is right in terms of what is expected of someone by his family, society, and culture, compared to the Western culture, which is basically about finding the truth and stress on self and what is rationally and logically true, and they also emphasizes on law and justice. Kumbaga, of course, in our Asian culture, we focus on the basis of religion. And this holds true that one must do what is right and expected of him, and the universe or a metaphysical force will take care of the rest. Kasi nga, based on religion, the gospel of gods, we can say, or the metaphysical force, we based our culture and our set of ethics based on the gospel of God, the Bible, and from that, we can say that we show respect based on that principle. And yun nga, more on the people around us tayo. More on the relationship from others yung minimaintain natin based on our Asian culture, na dun nasiset yung ating ethics. While in Western culture, they basically about finding the truth. They stress on themselves because uh, they are focused on rational and logical truth. And ibig sabihin nun, nagfo-focus sila on themselves, on how they can maintain the truthness and the logicalness of uh, their ethical principle. And because of this, na-emphasize din yung laws and justice because they are basing their lives more on uh, obliging with the laws and justice they have. So these are more differences of Western and Eastern. So for the focus, Western ethics, of course, focus on finding the truth, while Eastern ethics, the protocol and respect, yun yung minimaintain natin when it comes to our uh, ethics. So for the basis, they base their rational thought, and for the Eastern ethics, religious teachings. Kaya nga sinabi ko kanina, parang ang basis ng ating ethics is based on religions, because we have the metaphysical force, or what we call our God. And for the emphasis, of course, since the basis of their culture or ethics is for rational thought, of course, they emphasizes on logic, cause, and effect. So while in Eastern ethics, we emphasizes on respect towards family, towards our friends, towards the people around us, and our society. And it Western ethics, it roots in Athens, Rome, and Judeo-Christianity, while in Eastern ethics, it based or roots in Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism. While in their approach in Western ethics, it is rational because they based on logic, the cause and effect of what is a product of this kind of certain uh, process or certain outcome. While in Eastern ethics, it is holistic and cultural. Mamaya madidiscuss natin yung pagiging holistic and hospitability and uh, malalaman natin bakit nga ba kakaiba ang Eastern ethics. Of course, with pagmamalaki natin yung mga ethical behaviors or moral behaviors ng mga Pilipino na pag-uusapan natin mamaya. And lastly, the conflict and harmony. Sa Western ethics, the conflict and harmony is good must triumph over evil. Of course, mas gugustuhin nating manalo ang goodness over evilness, right? That is for Western ethics. While in Eastern ethics naman, good and bad, light and dark, all exist in equilibrium. Kaya nga, kahit nakagawa ka na ng mali, you still have the right to keep silent. Kaya ngayon sa batas natin, if you can remain silent whenever you did wrong, whenever police ay inaaresto ka na. And this is conflict and harmony. This is how we handle our conflict and the harmonization in our society. In the Western ethics or either in Eastern ethics. So, in Eastern ethics kasi, the basis is religion and specifically Eastern religions or philosophers. Yun doon nakabase, sabi ko nga kanina, doon nakabase ang set of ethical behavior or moral behavior natin. So, for example, 'di ba, part ng Eastern or Asian ethics is the Confucianism. For instance, this Confucianism is focused on the cultivation of virtue and maintenance of morality. Panay goodness talaga pag in Asian. Grabe yung focus natin, grabe yung attention natin when it comes to virtues and moral behavior in our morality because it is very important and it is a part of our humanity in our individuality that sets the standard of our ethical behavior. So meron dito yung mga divisions niya na pinaniniwalaan based on Confucianism. This is just an example. The Ren, the Yi, and the Li. When we say Ren, it is an obligation of altruism or yung pagiging giver natin, pagtulong natin sa ating kapwa, pagbibigay kung ano man yung meron tayo sa ibang kapwa, altruism and humaneness for other individuals. Kunwari may namamalimos or merong mga nasunugan at nawalan sila ng mga damit, nawalan sila ng mga shorts, nawalan sila ng pera because of that sunog. And yung pagiging altruism natin, which is the rent, is yung giving of our extra shirts, our extra money, extra food. Yun yung based on Confucianism na rin. And yun naman, upholding of righteousness and the moral disposition to do good. Of course, yun yung paggawa natin na mabuti sa ating kapwa. The kindness, disposition to do good. And the Li, a system of norms and propriety that determines how a person should properly act in everyday life. So now, we will discuss on the Filipino moral characters, the strengths and weaknesses. It centers on ideally having a smooth interpersonal relationship or the serf with others. The definition of serf in Philippine culture is principally supported by and anchored on at least 6 basic Filipino values. Alam nyo na tong 6 na to, yung pakikisama, hiya, amor proprio, utang na loob, Filipino hostility, and respect for elders. Hindi na bago sa atin to, but let us go deeper on this 6 basic Filipino values. Unahin natin yung pakikisama, having and maintaining good public relations. This is usually being practiced to avoid clash with other people or certain group. And ang pakikisama kasi, yun nga yung pag-maintain natin, yung kasama na dito yung pakikipagkapwa-tao. Nagkakaroon tayo ng harmonization towards others, nagsishare tayo, nagbibigay tayo ng trust, ng loyalty, para ma-maintain yung harmony, yung unity na tinatawag natin, and yung good public relation. And next naman, yung hiya. It is described as a feeling of loneliness, shame or embarrassment, and inhibition or shyness, which is experienced as somewhat distressing. It is related to the concept of face and a concern with how one appears in the eyes of others. Pag alam nyo na yung hiya, of course, nagkakaroon tayo ng feeling of loneliness. Parang nahihiya tayong gawin yung isang bagay. Kunwari, yung re-recite, yung pagre-report, meron tayong nararamdaman na hiya. And sometimes, it is distressing because we cannot do what others can do, like reporting, like speaking in the front of other people. But we should bear in mind, okay, na itong hiya na to ay dapat ma-develop natin into positive or our strength. We must make this opportunity as our, or make this weakness as an opportunity to make it a strength. Like, for example, make it an inspiration. Kung dati nahihiya kang mag-report, nahihiya kang magsalita sa ibang tao, now make it an inspiration to be able to influence others with your voice. Kung dati ganun ka mahiyain, and now prove them na you are a good public speaker. You can influence others. Parang ganun. Dapat ma-develop natin itong weakness na ito na pagiging mahiyain into our strength. Next naman is yung amor proprio. It is derived from the concept of face. Although commonly translated as self-respect or self-esteem, it is characterized as the high degree of sensitivity that makes a person intolerant to criticism and causes to have an easily wounded pride. Para sa akin, ang amor proprio is, although meron siyang positive side, more on negative side siya. More on weakness side. Kasi parang kapag natapakan yung pride natin, ganito yon, yung pagiging sensitive natin and very intolerant natin to criticism. Parang yun nga yung sinasabi nilang balat sibuyas. But we can develop this also, like hiya, we can develop this amor proprio to have more self-respect and more self-esteem for us to be able to face what others may expect us, or what others might say to us, like any criticism. And next is the Filipino hostility. It refers to the innate ability and trait of Filipinos to be courteous and entertaining to their guests. Kaya nga pag sinasabi nila, Filipinos are hospitable. Kasi pag merong mga bisita, we are welcoming them warm-heartedly. We are very warm, we are very welcoming and accommodating. Kaya nga pag kunwari, walang-wala ka, 'di ba? Tapos may dumating na bisita, hindi mo hahayaan na bibisita lang 'yan. Of course, kahit utang 'yan, maghahanda ka ng kahit soft drinks man lang, kahit biscuit man lang para sa kanila, and that serves as a Filipino hostility. This trait, however, makes Filipino prone to being abused or maltreated. And lastly, respect to elders. We Filipinos are not only respectful to elders but also have unique ways of expressing this respect to elders. Of course, yung paggamit natin ng po and opo sa kapag may kausap tayong nakatatanda sa atin, in our family, in our school, or other institutions. And hindi rin ah, hindi rin iba sa atin yung pagmamano. O- And lastly, yung dependent or irrationally obedient to our parents. Yung pagiging masunurin natin sa ating parents. That this three is one are the three basic respect to our elders. And these Filipino social values are important. Bakit? It is important to maintain harmony in Filipino relationships in social institutions such as our family, our school, and the community and the society as a whole. So sinabi rin na the Filipino moral character is smooth interpersonal relationship with yung pakikipagkapwa-tao natin has been deemed as a central core of essential cultural traits that form and define an almost stereotypic Filipino character and moral behavior. And for our last topic, the universal values, we mean those generally shared by cultures. And this is a strong proof that cultural relativism is wrong. Ano nga ba yung cultural relativism? Sinasabi kasi ng cultural relativism na yung culture or culture's morality differ from each other. Yun yung sinasabi ng cultural relativism when in fact it is wrong. Kasi although despite our distances, our differences in our culture and beliefs, it is mistaken kasi na-prove natin that we have similarities din in our values. So, meron tayo kasing dalawang universal values na sinasabi. It na parang similar to other countries, similar to other societies na pinapractice nating lahat. First is the truth telling. Without it, there would be no reason to pay heed or attention to what anyone communicates to any other. Pag kasi hindi ka nagsabi ng totoo, of course, mawawalan ka ng gana na pakinggan yung mga sinasabi niya. Kasi nga, hindi totoo. Like yung mga, hindi lingid sa ating kaalaman, yung mga chismosa. Na although meron silang nasasabing totoo, syempre dinadagdagan na yun, kaya nga chismosa sila. Truth telling is having the communication to tell the truth. And for us to pay attention kung ano man yung binibigay na information ng iba. And next is the valuing of or respecting lives. Of course, if you do not respect lives, of course, it can cause or it might cause na whenever someone na gumawa ng hindi maganda sa'yo, of course, you won't hesitate to kill that person. And very important itong valuing or respecting lives because it necessitates the prohibition on murder. If no one thought there anything wrong with killing others at will, everyone would have to be constantly on guard. Na proprotektahan nila yung sarili nila lagi. Kasi iisipin nila na papatayin ka nila kasi may nagawa kang mali or natripan lang nila, 'di ba? So general theoretical point by Rachels in 1999 is that there are some moral rules that all societies have in common because those rules are necessary for society to exist. Without it kasi society cannot exist orderly and protectedly with unifiedly. Cultures may differ in what they regard as legitimate exceptions to the rules, but this agreement exists against a background of agreement on the larger issues. So for the conclusion, therefore, it is a mistake to overestimate the amount of difference between cultures because although we have different societies, we have different beliefs, we have different cultures na pinaniniwalaan and set of ethics, we can still be the same. In fact, they vary from society to society. And these differences can also have strengths and weaknesses that we can improve and make an opportunity to improve and make it as a universal values that people can adapt and people can practice in their day-to-day life. So that's it for today. Thank you for listening and have a good day.